In a world full of routine, two degenerates emerge to remind us to embrace life. Krista and Jason aren't the cruisers we need or deserve, but they are here anyway. They're just soulmates with a GoPro, a moderate tolerance for alcohol, and a thirst for fun. Let's celebrate the day.
Gotta go bye-bye, honey.
Yep, we are.
They don't want me here anymore.
Well, I'm sure they do. They just want our money too, so.
They took all my money, honey.
I guess
See
we'll go
that
back
cute
to...
little shirt? Beach therapy, Carnival. $20. What a bargain, dude. Not so much.
Alright, so, yeah, we're here. You can see sort of on that shitty-ass TV. That picture's really bad, right? It's like, come on, Carnival, improve the bow view. I'm in an interior here.
No window. Give me a window.
So we're gonna get it is 6:25. We're gonna go get some breakfast and a little bite to eat, and then 7:30 where we meet to depart.
I don't know. Where'd the paper go?
I give it back to you.
Oh, shit.
See ya.
Hello.
Good morning-ish.
Yes. Morning-ish.
We're in the middle of a love bug storm.
Would you like to see our windshield?
Yeah, the only good thing about love bugs is when you hit them with your car, you kill two of them at a time.
Oh, that's good. Right?
So, debarkation was smooth. That was pretty slick.
Yeah.
Got up, ran up to Lido, had a nice breakfast, and 7:30 we met as Faster and Fun participants, Matt, and at 7:54 we were at the car loading the luggage in the car.
It was fast. It was so fast. I mean,
So that was pretty slick. They
customs,
definitely
I think 30 seconds. It was nice.
show up wearing a big goofy hat. People they're like they wave you through. Obviously you're not doing whatever naughty things customs looks for. So anyway, we've been sitting here in the car on the way home from Miami and talking about what we liked and what we thought there was room for improvement for, and just, kind of chewing the fat on our great vacation we just had. And so we'd like to I think we're going to do a top 10 of what we do or don't like.
Yeah. Top 10 sounds good.
So
Top 10 positives, top 10 negatives of our cruise.
we'd like to do it without the bugs splattering on the windshield noise.
And all the bumps on the freeway.
And so when we get back to the house, we'll do a little top 10, give it some more thought. But I think that'll be a fun way to close this out.
Yeah, I think
Rather
so
than
too.
the depression of getting off the cruise today.
Yes. And it's like snowing, only it's bugs flying at us and hitting the windshield. It's totally crazy here. So, we will touch bases with you when we are back home. Bye.
Here's the bug slayer.
Fucking insane.
Look at this. Yeah. Nice. Your poor car. It'll never be the same.
My car! Look at my car! What happened to my car? Oh no, this is so sad. My car is got bugified.
Hey, degenerates, what's up?
All right, so like we mentioned in the car on the way back from the cruise, we had the idea to do kind of a top list of things we were excited about, the cruise ship or the itinerary.
Yeah, things that we were excited about.
Just central about this particular trip or cruise for us.
Yeah.
So, without further ado, you want to start with positives and negatives?
I think we should do a little, because we'll mix them up.
All right, so.
I think a huge plus for us for this last cruise on the Victory was the ports of call. I absolutely loved Key West and Cozumel. They're fun. I love both those ports. I'd do them again. In fact, I'm looking at doing them again.
We love Cozumel. That's no secret
Yeah.
about that, and would encourage anyone to go to Cozumel.
Yes.
Because whatever your interest is, I'm sure you could find something like that to do there.
Yes. The only negative on about the ports of call on this cruise was the schedule.
Yes. The schedule was it was kind of weird, to be honest.
Yeah.
So in Key West, we got there at 7 o'clock in the morning.
7 o'clock in the morning, and we left at 1.
Yeah, so
1:30, something like that.
And what made it weird was that nothing was open.
Until 10.
Right, and being such a short port of call, we had to be back on board at 1 o'clock.
Right.
It made it a little difficult to get to some of the places we wanted to eat or have a cocktail or some key lime pie or whatever it is that we were doing.
Yep.
It made, obviously we were standing at the southernmost point without a crowd whatsoever.
And nothing.
So that was kind of cool, and we dug the bike thing.
Yeah, the bicycle. Yeah, that renting bikes right out of the port, or in the port actually. It's just at the end of the bridge or end of the pier. You rent bikes, $20 a piece, and you can cruise the entire town on bicycles. So that was really cool.
For the day, yeah.
In
I don't
Key
even know
West.
how long the day was, but and then Cozumel, we had like a late port. We were getting there at 1 o'clock.
Got it there at 1:30 or something
and then
like
we were
that.
out of there at 10 p.m. So Mr. Sancho's and Nachi both have day passes, but it starts at 8 a.m. and then
It ends at
Mr. Sancho stops it at 5 p.m.
Their
local
time.
So it actually bought us an hour because we were on ship time, which was Eastern. So they're on Central, which backed them up an hour, which gave us an extra hour before they'd throw us out. And it was plenty of time for us. We're not complaining about the amount of time we had at Mr. Sancho's.
I think actually half a day is plenty of time at Mr. Sancho's.
Yeah, I just don't have a half a day pass. I could see just chilling there all day, but there's just so much to do in Cozumel that I would honestly. Yeah.
So, ports of call.
Where are you going? You're drifting away.
I'm sorry, I'm floating, honey. Ports of call, we had positives and negatives, but the schedule is obviously the negative. When we were on the ship, there was, as far as the hotel or the room stuff, our room steward was amazing.
So this is a positive.
This is a
All right,
positive.
so here's a positive.
Our room steward was amazing.
Yeah.
All the hospitality staff that we met.
We haven't had any bad room staff so far. We've had some
No.
better than others, but we've never had anybody that we thought was really like, wow. And Krista had the chance to meet the manager of the
Hospitality
hotel
director.
part, and she was off shift getting something to eat. We offered to let her skip in front of us. She was like, no, I'm off. And then while she was, we struck up a conversation because Krista's chatty. And she just made sure to ask us what we thought of how things were. I mean, she's not even on duty, and she's sitting there asking for feedback to see if there's anything to do better. And so that's pretty empowering. It makes us feel pretty good.
Yeah.
When people want to know if they're doing good by us, and that's one of the things we love about cruising.
Yeah. But as far as our room specifically, you had a couple of things that you would like to see improvement on. I think one of them was the air conditioner.
I would love to see the air conditioner get a little cooler. Daytime was fine. I like a little cooler at night, and we just couldn't get the room just quite chilly enough in the nighttime. In the daytime, when you were active, it felt pretty good, but it was always cranked to the lowest setting. There wasn't any more cold to be had on the whole thing.
And then the refrigerator?
The refrigerator's in the closet. The layout of the interior room isn't, obviously it's an interior room, so you can say that this isn't really a negative. It's just a comment on this particular interior room. I know there's more spacious interior rooms, but the layout was kind of wacky. The closet had the refrigerator in it. There was limited closet space. The passageway to get around was kind of blocked by the bed. It seemed like the bed should have been facing the head toward the middle of the ship rather than facing toward the front of the ship.
Right.
That might have made it a little more usable.
Yeah. It gave you about 12 inches between the end of the bed and the wall to get around the bed.
And other people have mentioned that the interior room is very, very dark, and we had light coming into the door. There was no issue with finding your way around, and there was motion lighting underneath the closet that when you walked by, it would turn on, so you didn't really have to wake up your cabin mate.
Yep. So speaking of light coming in from the hallway into the room, I'd love to see a little more insulation or a little more noise blockage with the door. Some people didn't realize that, at 1 o'clock in the morning, other people might be sleeping when they're walking down the hallway, and they're just carrying on, having a great time, and they're on vacation and they deserve to. But it was a sorry.
You keep drifting away, and this isn't.
So it was a little noisy at times. We could hear the noise from the hallway, so that was a little awkward. And you had one complaint you'd love to see Carnival upgrade.
Regarding
regarding the toiletries.
The toilet, well, we all know the toilet's a little wacky, but the toilet paper is absolutely fucking horrible. Okay, I'm just gonna come out and say it. It's a shit show, literal shit show. It's awful. There's no reason the toilet paper should be that crappy. And I'm a dude telling you that the toilet paper is junk. You got to pull 20 feet of this shit off the roll, and it's horrible. My fucking poor culo was just sore. I mean, granted, I'm your diet's all wacky, right? So you're kind of off doing your weird diet thing, which makes me poop twice a day. It's true. I mean, maybe other channels are a little too proper for this, but the toilet paper's freaking horrible.
So we stopped at what's called a service area, and they're up and down the freeways.
Just a rest area on the side of the highway.
It's a rest area on the side of the highway. And I went in to go to the bathroom, and I was impressed because the quality of toilet paper in that rest area was so much better than what was on the ship.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is nice.
But absolute fail on the toilet paper. And that's been consistent across the entire Carnival fleet. I get it. You buy, toilet paper by the train load. But, I mean, can you help me out a little bit?
Yeah, it was bad.
Just come on. Do I really have to bring my own toilet paper on a freaking cruise?
We might.
I've had better toilet paper at some of the shittiest motels I've ever stayed in.
That's true. We've stayed at some real.
And I can't believe that you can pull 20 feet of toilet paper off and it still don't clean your ass. I feel like I need a bidet, one of them ass washer stations. Yeah. It was awful. I was like, we need to go to the pool after I crap just so I can wash my butt.
That's why they drain the pool once a day.
What if everybody else got a dirty ass? Do not put your face underwater.
No. Okay, so back to the positive side. We met a lot of staff people on the ship, and we met a lot of Fun Squad members. We met a lot of performers that are like dual Fun Squad performers for the shows. We met bartenders. We met service, wait staff. There's a couple of people on this cruise that really stood out, and his name is Tevin.
Yep. T-Money.
T-Money, Tevin. So he is part of the Fun Squad, and, for all intents and purposes, he was the cruise director because he was the face of all the activities that we saw. Yep. Unfortunately, our cruise director on this ship, Felipe, wasn't really a face that you saw anywhere until the final day, and really
Felipe
one
is
of our final
a
activities.
bit more of a delegator than we're used to.
Yeah.
Now, Felipe absolutely shined a couple of times, so
yes.
It's not like we're sitting here and going to bash Felipe because
no.
Felipe, he was a fun guy, and we went to the veterans thing. It's the first time we ever did that, which is super duper cool of Carnival, and I guess that feeds into another bullet point.
That's next on, down on the list.
And so I get the irony because Felipe is from Brazil, Rio.
Right.
And so we're on a ship registered in Panama, cruise director from Brazil, and we're celebrating veterans.
Right. But
so maybe not all American veterans. I mean, cruises are full of all kinds of veterans. It's all good. But he, being a military brat, was really, really, you could see his heart was in this activity. Mm-hmm. Now, we didn't see him at the mega deck party.
Nope. Mega deck party on this.
T-Money was doing that. And
but it only lasted
really
a half hour on this ship, too.
Well,
so that was a little weird.
We go back to this itinerary, the schedule of the itinerary. We loved the itinerary, but we didn't like the schedule. And the schedule screwed up some of the onboard stuff, too. So
right.
We all get back from 10 o'clock at night
from
Cozumel, and now it's time for the mega deck party,
which lasts a half an hour.
Right. So that was a little wacky, but
yeah.
But Tevin T-Money, this guy is phenomenal,
and we told him he was amazing.
Someday you're going to see that guy as a cruise director.
Right. Now, in all fairness, we've had Frankie from the Miracle, who's going to be on the Legend after the Miracle moves to the West Coast, and then we've had No on the Liberty.
Yeah, so
and they are two amazing directors that are everywhere on the ship at all times. I mean, they're no matter where you're at, they're there.
For me, Frankie sets the bar.
Exactly.
And I couldn't tell you who the cruise director was on the Sensation.
Nope.
Couldn't
me
tell
neither.
you. So I guess we're batting 500, but we've been touched by some really, really strong talent on the Carnival side with No and Frankie.
And I think I honestly believe
the bar, in our opinion, is really high.
Yeah, and I think Tevin will be a cruise director at some point because
I hear
he's that
there
amazing.
are other amazing, and so you just thought that would be the way it was, and he's a bit more of a delegator, which also, and to spin it into a positive, gives Tevin the opportunity to really shine a lot.
Yes.
So maybe you call that a development thing.
He's going to be an amazing cruise director.
Yeah, he was phenomenal.
So we really enjoyed the shows that we saw. We really enjoyed the comedy shows, the musical shows, the quality of the performers. But we did find the schedule a little odd about some of the shows because there wasn't any comedy day one.
With this schedule, things were happening in the afternoon and late night, and we were back on board very early for a couple of them, so it seemed like you would expect maybe some of that stuff to kind of get switched around where there was constant stuff going on.
Right.
And the first night there wasn't even a comedy thing. And I don't know where everybody on the ship was. They finally came out on sea day and they all were on the Lido.
Yeah, we figured out there were people on the ship.
We still found a seat, but there wasn't a comedy show, which is, I mean, it's a bit of a tradition for us to where we do the comedy show, the R-rated one, the first night to kind of, set the tone.
Set the tone.
And it didn't happen. And then the whole ship seems like they're just waiting for us to get into Cozumel, and literally we're driving around in freaking circles.
Yep, we did.
We're not doing shit.
Circles.
We're just waiting to get into Cozumel. So people are like, they're not fully cruise lifing it.
Yeah, they're not sea daying it, but they're ready to port.
They're ready to get into Cozumel, so they're kind of saving their energy for that. They're just a little more reserved. So people are just kind of
wandering around.
Milling around. It's like part sea day, part Cozumel.
Yeah, it was weird. Now, food options on this cruise, I think every single thing we tried was amazing except for only one item, but everything we ate, and we ate plenty because I stepped on the scale this morning and it's not looking good.
I lost 2 pounds of asshole with the toilet paper. Left it somewhere. Just rubbed it right off.
Oh, jeez. But the one thing we did find that was a struggle consistently every day was the scrambled eggs in the Lido. The
scrambled eggs are not perfect.
No.
But we got nothing. Like I said, if you want scrambled eggs, I'm sure you could go over to the made to order or the omelet station.
Yeah, the omelet station.
And order scrambled eggs, and they'd probably be a little better if they were just something about scrambled eggs where you can't make them by the million.
Right.
And they don't turn out the same as when you're making a dozen.
Yeah. Now, the next thing is the ship overall. Embarkation, debarkation, muster, all of those for me, I'm floating away again. All of those for me were amazing. They were fast, they were efficient. We got on the ship, we got off the ship. The muster was quick, there was no issues. It was bam, bam, bam.
That's
bam,
a two-part thing. I think that's props to Miami.
Yes.
That port is slick as shit. We parked at the terminal. We didn't mess around. I mentioned that earlier, that we didn't mess around with some off-site parking because I couldn't find any good feedback. But them guys, man, they were still getting people off the ship when we got to where we were already seated. People were coming off, and they flipped it back around, turned all the signs around, and the next thing you know, we're all getting on. Right. And then obviously you saw the end of our debarkation where we were at the car at
7:54.
Yeah, and our time to get off with Faster to the Fun was 7:30.
7:30 is when we met in the theater.
26 minutes to the car.
Right. But the negative of that was also we didn't realize that they released, if you had checked your bag, they released decks based on what deck number you were. So when I looked at the debarkation schedule, which we could even put up here because I brought it home, the 11th deck didn't get released from their, to get off the ship until like 10:45 in the morning.
Yeah. So that might be a bit of a surprise if I was on the 11th deck to find out that I wasn't getting off the ship. I mean, you can only eat and do
And you had to be out of the room by, I think it was 9:30.
I don't know the details on all that, but when you're thinking I got to get out of here, and they did have a thing for people that had an early flight,
right?
And I don't know if they wanted proof of your ticket or what, or if you could just say,
I'm flying before noon. Right, I got to get off this ship.
They would let you off, but they did, if you were up. But man, that would be. We were home by the time some of those people were getting off the ship.
I know, it was crazy. What did you think of the layout of the Victory?
It reminded me of the Liberty a lot, in the wacky deck that goes nowhere.
Yep.
So you're cruising along trying to get to your dining area, and then you find a sign, because it's so confusing that they've actually have a sign that tells you how to get to the dining room.
Right. It is that crazy.
And you think you're at the end of the ship, and you're not. You're only halfway.
Right.
So there's a few decks that go end to end, and we figure it out, and you think you know what you're doing. I studied the deck plans a little bit, and the next thing you know, you're like, shit, here we go.
Right.
In the casino, it feels like you're at the end of the ship, and then there's this little hallway on the non-smoking side. If you're facing the front of the ship, that would be the left.
Right.
Or the port. And all of a sudden, there's half a ship left.
Right.
Otherwise, it just ends at some elevators.
Right. I don't know what's on the other side of those
Which was
elevators.
cool, because the people that needed to go through were on the non-smoking side. So if you were just a person getting from one end of the ship to the other, you didn't have to be on the smoking side. And the Victory did have really good ventilation, because we were down there vaping our ass off with all the smokers.
Right.
And we would get out over into that through-fare, the non-smoking side, and it wasn't stinky, you know, and we're pretty susceptible to the smell of smoke.
That's true. So, layout was kind of funky.
A little wacky.
What did you think of the aft pool?
The retractable pool, something that's special to the Liberty, or the Victory, excuse me. I thought I really don't care one way or the other. I think it's a cool feature if there was inclement weather, that maybe that would be a thing. But I don't know that.
I would have preferred. I'm okay with the if there's inclement weather, they cover the pool. They have this retractable awning. It's pretty cool, but
it made it feel like it was in a cave.
Yeah. And
so
the windows were dirty.
You didn't feel outsidey, because it was you were sunk into this place, which did make it calm, but it was also a little hotter down there because there wasn't any circulation, and you couldn't really see out that you were in the middle of the ocean unless you looked through these freaking dirty ass windows. I mean, we just clean the windows once a cruise at least, have somebody run some, they got that jet wash or whatever that would clean up the windows, and we've noticed that also on the rooms we've had with windows. It spoils the view a little bit. I'm not saying, my God, this is a deal breaker. We all need to melt down about the dirty window. But when you're trying to look out at the ocean, it would be really cool if either the window opened or you could clean the window. On the back deck, where the pool is, it would be really cool if those windows open and they got some breeze through there. That
would be cool. Now, the only thing I had a problem with as far as the retractable awning was the space where the retractable awning was dead space. It was not used. So there was a deck above it, and there was nothing. I mean, it's a perfect place for clamshells or, other peaceful things just looking out at the aft. So we've been on the Miracle, where it had the aft was the Serenity, and you just could sit out in these clamshells and it would be beautiful.
Yeah, but there was so much space. Chairs, loungers.
And there wasn't on this.
And clamshells and stuff like that. And there wasn't on this one. And the back, the smoking area, which leads into another thing. So the outside smoking area they put next to the freaking engine room or whatever's going on there. This ship was the mechanically noisiest ship we've ever been on.
I agree.
And I usually, like on the Liberty and the Sensation and even the Miracle, when we were up mini golfing up there right by the funnel, that's where all of the exhaust noise and the blowers and all of everything vents. And it seems to me that wasn't the case on this one. It was noisy as hell.
We're having wind difficulties.
Well, but this ship just seemed really noisy. So even when we go to that outside area where you could kind of look out at the ocean and chill.
It was noisy.
Under the shaded areas there, you couldn't hear each other talk. So everybody's trying to scream back and forth trying to talk. And we met a couple that were on their 100th cruise, not 100th day, 100th
cruise.
And he was also at the military appreciation thing. And we would have loved to have had a conversation and maybe even turn the camera on to
I
introduce
thought about
these.
it.
But there's no way you could hear her.
No, it was bad. It was.
I would have had to
interesting.
drag him somewhere else to get away from that ship noise. So
Yeah.
I don't know what. Just this particular ship was very mechanically noisy.
But the good thing about this ship is it is going into dry dock in 2020, and it's going to get a huge upgrade. When its upgrade is done, it's going to have some of those quirks that we've already mentioned as far as floor wishy-washy, and it's going to have some of those quirks worked out.
Yeah.
So when it comes out as the Radiance, I'm interested in sailing it again just to see the changes, because that for me is exciting. But with the new ship coming out, I'd love to see some other things be addressed, like chair hogs.
And I don't know, Carnival just can't seem to crack that code, and then probably cruise industry can't seem to crack
Right.
that code. It's not specific to Carnival. But here's a bunch of shit
Yep.
laying in usually it's just a towel, but here's someone's towel laying
Pair
in
of
a
shoes
chair.
every now and then.
And they're just hogging up the chair.
And
you go out on deck, and we finally found a chair, and we're looking around, and there's no turnover.
No,
That
we saw chairs empty for like 2 hours.
So I would love to see a little stronger enforcement of the chair rule, where it's like a
Yeah.
half an hour and somebody's going to pick up your shit,
Yeah.
and put it in the safekeeping and open up that chair.
Yeah.
And hey, if when we were in our
We stayed in the
loungers.
chairs.
Well, we got
Well,
out.
one of us did.
You can go to the pool. We've done that before. We went to the hot tub,
Yeah.
and we had our backpack sitting on the chair, and we're gone for 20 minutes. I don't even care. An hour, 2 hours. Hey, 2 hours. How's that? Can we extend it 2 hours? So if
Yeah,
your
there were
towel
chairs
is-
taken up like all day.
Your chair is safe for 2 hours, but I mean, come on, check back in.
Right. It's a thing, and I think I've heard it on multiple vlogs that chair hogging is
And
an
as empty
issue.
as this ship was, they did manage. The Lido was a nightmare
Yep.
as far as occupancy
On sea
well, I
day.
don't know about a nightmare, but it was pretty full, and it was mostly empty chairs with
Yeah,
towels.
on it. Yeah, which was frustrating. Let's see. Music.
All right. So this I have two rants really.
Okay.
One is toilet paper, and the other one's the freaking music. We talked about consistency across the ships of certain things and stuff like that.
Right.
The shows and stuff like that is nice when there's some consistency. The performance of the cruise director, and obviously there's a lot of consistency with the freaking music because it's the same damn 15 songs every freaking 20 minutes on the Lido. Literally, it's the Cha-Cha Slide,
Wobble
Blurred
baby, wobble
Lines,
baby, wobble baby.
Pussycat Dolls,
Yeah.
and Don't You Wish Your Boyfriend Was Hot
Yeah.
Like Me.
You are hot, by the way.
Right. What the hell's that other? There we heard a little mixing. I heard some Journey a couple times. I heard some hip hop that they didn't play really often. I don't mind the reggae so much when they turn on reggae.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of similarity between that, but it's a nice vibe it lays down. But when it comes to this party playlist, it's always the same songs.
It is.
And it's not enough of them where you can play them and then start over again without everybody freaking noticing.
That's true.
So come on, Carnival.
Right?
There's a lot of good tunes out there. One of my favorite cruise songs is Island in the Sun by Weezer.
Yes.
And they never freaking play it. I mean, just throw that one in there every now and then. It ain't gonna hurt nobody. We can do this. It's not a big deal.
No, it's
I'm not saying it's a deal breaker, but man, I don't want to do the Cha-Cha Slide every fucking 10 minutes. So
He knows the Cha-Cha Slide
throw
and
a
has
brother
never
a
done
bone,
it.
man.
So one of my rants, and this was consistent throughout the entire ship, so it wasn't just one bathroom or another bathroom. But you'd go, and the soap dispensers that were installed weren't working, so they installed different soap dispensers. So you had to find a soap dispenser that had soap in it, and then you had to play musical sync and figure out which sync was working as well. And then you had to, there wasn't paper towels, so then you had to figure out musical hand dryers, which hand dryer was actually working. And they changed it up. It's like they came and fixed one and the other one broke. So every day was a different, it's like Russian roulette, which sink works, which hand soap thing is full, and which hand dryer works.
And I'm totally pro world, but the fucking the air hand dryer is wacky. If you can't get the damn thing to work and put a tray below it, where do you think all that water's blowing?
Right to the
It's
floor.
not drying up. It's not evaporating. It's blowing around on the floor, so the floor's all wet and gross. And you can't tell the difference in a bathroom whether somebody peed on it or whether that's air drying water.
And the other thing I noticed is all the hand dryers was at my eye level. So I'm feeling bad for these kids that are 2 and 3 years old. They can't even reach the hand dryer to dry their hands. So that's just
maybe an option.
Maybe an option, or two. One high, one low. I mean, it was just weird.
And then the tissue paper to grab the doorknob. So the tissue paper's over here, the doorknob's over there, and the fucking trash can to put the little tissue paper
behind
in
you.
is somewhere else. So people just throw it on the floor. Then you walk out with the wet feet because it just blew water all over the floor, and it's stuck to your fucking foot while you're walking across a Lido trying to look cool in front of everybody, and you got toilet paper stuck to your foot.
Okay.
Can we put the trash can close to the doorknob?
So
Just a little extra effort. Just maybe a minor amount of engineering to get that right.
right. So we didn't do the Cheers package this cruise. We've done Cheers package on a couple of cruises. We've done Bubbles package on a couple of cruises. This cruise we did the Bubbles package. And one thing that we noticed, and we later found out why, is if you have the Bubbles package, you kind of get neglected.
Yeah, we ordered multiple sodas and got hung out to dry.
Yeah, no, we ordered Diet Cokes or Sprites. At one point, we ordered it 5 times and got 1.
Yeah, we just ordered a Diet Coke from everybody that walked by the work Carnival.
Because it was getting ridiculous. And we noticed that it just, we couldn't figure out why. We'd order a Diet Coke and then we'd order a Diet, we kept, finally when we got one, we never saw that guy again. And it's because a lot of the server staff, we did find out why, a lot of the server staff and bartenders make very nominal hourly wages, but they do make tip or gratuity. They get part of the gratuity on the dollar value of the drinks. So the higher dollar value of drinks you sell in a shift, the more gratuity you get or the more money you earn. So that was a problem. Because if you look at your statement, you'll see that there was a $6.50 beer with a gratuity. But if you look at the soda, it says 0. So
they didn't even have a signing for the sodas.
No, they didn't care
because there's no gratuity attached to it that they can get.
Right.
And so we were tipping. Anybody that put the paper in front of us to sign, I would
we
put
were
a
tipping.
buck. I'd put a buck on it. It'd be like, because the Cheers, the Bubbles package is really very super value. I don't know that I can drink that much soda without pouring rum in it, but
right.
It's a very good value, and the 18% gratuity on $6 a day or whatever Bubbles costs. What does that add up to? That's not helping anybody.
No.
And you want the guy, or the girl to come back. You want them to pay. You want to take care of them. You want to have them happy that they're waiting on you.
Yeah, and you ordered a bucket of beer, and you just wanted to chill on that bucket of beer for a while. You didn't, you weren't drinking it to get slammed. You just would like to taste a beer and wanted a beer.
Yeah,
and so we ordered a bucket, but he was 2 beers in, and the ice was all melted. So we had to ask again. It was like 5 people to bring us more ice for his beer to keep it cold.
There's no gratuity attached to bringing me more ice.
There's no gratuity attached. So the first guy that brought us ice, I ordered a pitcher of margaritas, and I tipped him very well.
Yeah.
And he was very thankful. But that's how, that was my way of saying thank you. And I told him, I said, you brought ice for us, so I want to make sure you're appreciated. Thank you.
My feedback on this bucket of beer, 101-ounce tube, pitcher of margaritas, there is a better value per ounce, but not enough to where I'm going to mess with it anymore.
Nope.
And
Me neither.
As a non-Cheers person that would get on a ship and have a minimal amount of drinks, it's not worth hauling the 4 beers around to save 50 cents a beer.
No, and
It's just not. And they did raise the price of beer.
they did raise the price of
Right,
beer.
price of beer went up from $5.95 to $6.25, so we're looking at a 30-cent increase in beer price, and the craft stuff went up about 50 cents.
And my concern, I ordered a pitcher of strawberry margaritas, and half the pitcher was gone, and all the ice was gone too. Yeah. So I was trying to order like cups of ice to cool the margarita. I mean, otherwise it's a waste of half a pitcher. So then I was drinking it faster. So it's getting watered down,
and she's trying to get caught up to it, and I'm over there with my hot beers trying to, get them cooled down, and it
didn't work out.
It's just, you know what? Just order on. Well, do what you want. For starters, it's your vacation. This is just my feedback that I won't order more than what I can drink cold.
One at a time. So another thing we experienced, because as you've seen us during this video, we do use electronic cigarettes. We are vaping. We did smoke for a very long time, and we've quit. We've switched to electronic cigarettes, and we have chosen to follow all the laws associated with those because they're changing daily. Carnival strictly prohibits using electronic cigarettes anywhere that's not considered a smoking area. So we were with the smokers the entire time.
Yep, and we got no issue hanging out with smokers.
No issue hanging out with those people.
Those are the ones that also drink most of the time, so
exactly.
Those are our peeps.
However,
bunch of degenerates.
However, there is not legislation for people using electronic vaporizers for marijuana products.
The dubage.
The dubage.
The lechuga de diablo.
Yes, the devil's lettuce. We went to a hot tub, and I'm not kidding you, there were 4 people in there vaping devil's lechuga up a storm, and we're sitting there, not vaping because it's against the law. And they acted like they were
this ain't the first ship we've been on where there is the smell of pot everywhere.
Everywhere.
And hey,
the casino.
I don't care. In the casino, in your room, that's fine. But I mean, if I'm sitting 2 feet from you in the fucking hot tub, I mean, can I just start busting ass right there?
May as well.
If we're all just gonna do shit that kind of imposes on our neighbor, then I should be able to vape. I should be able to fart. I can do whatever it is that.
And Carnival did say that it was strictly prohibited, all types of inhaling products was strictly prohibited except in smoking areas, but they didn't do anything to enforce it.
I can hardly wait till they just make
it legal.
Weed legal, and then people don't have to,
Then they're going to be in the smoking areas.
They can bring it on the ship without having to, and apparently smuggling on the ship is just not a problem.
No.
Because there was a lot of weed on this ship.
A lot of weed on this ship. On this cruise, there was a lot of stoners.
Just let them come out. And so where they, I wouldn't say that they're not out already.
No,
but maybe at least then you could be like, hey, you got to vape that in the casino or on the smoking deck,
That one chick you were sitting next to in the bar.
Oh, man, you could have blinded this chick with dental floss. She was so stoned. She was looking through these little tiny slits for eyelids, like... What's up?
So another thing that we noticed on this ship, and it had nothing to do with the ship or anybody, is we did find a lot of really, really kind and compassionate people on this ship. They were courteous, excuse me, oh, sorry, I bumped into you, which was really cool. And I just want to stress to anybody going onto a Caribbean vacation, please remember the Caribbean sun is very intense, and please wear sunblock and hydrate.
For people-wise, this was one of the best ships we've been on for manners.
Yes.
Even kids.
Yes.
Everybody was. You might get people, because everybody's trying to get to the same place. They might step in front of you, but at least they said, "Excuse me," or they grab you by the shoulder and go, "Oh, I'm sorry," something like
right.
that. Everybody was really, really nice, and. Yeah. I mean, even the guys that were smoking weed in the hot tub were cool. They were just smoking weed in the hot tub.
Right.
Which, like
a lot of weed.
Just to make our position known, we don't smoke pot, but I am totally for legalizing pot.
Yes.
Because it's.
Gosh, it's ridiculous that it's not.
Right. I don't know.
We're from Oregon,
whatever.
So we're a little more.
But everybody was super duper kind on the ship. I thought, wow, what's going on here? And maybe, I don't know if it was just not overly crowded. The correct amount of people were on there where they didn't feel pressured.
I don't know. I was really weirded out the first 2 days we were on the ship, or 3 days that we were on the ship, about where the people were.
Right.
And it seems like the final day of the cruise, everybody came out. So I don't know what was up with that, but we finally saw the people on the last day, and unfortunately, some were seriously sunburned.
You're going to get
Caribbean
plenty
sun,
of
folks.
sun.
Come on.
So don't be afraid to put on 100 SPF.
We wore
You're gonna
100
walk out
the
of there.
whole ship,
You're going to walk
whole
out,
time.
and we're from freaking Florida, okay?
Right.
Trust me. We know what the sun looks like.
Yeah, we wore 100 sunblock every day, and I still
you
got
step
burned.
into the Caribbean, and it's literally like God has a microscope on there, or a magnifying glass, and he's trying
Magnifying glass.
to burn ants in the Caribbean.
Right.
The sun is really, really intense in the Caribbean, and we saw people that were so burnt. I mean, it's like forgetting your passport.
We were scared.
It'll ruin your vacation if you get a really bad sunburn.
Right. So we talked about positives and negatives. How would you rate your cruise, 1 to 10?
I'd give it an 8.
I agree. I would give it an 8.
Love that itinerary.
I do.
Because
I don't
Key
like the-
West is so bomb. It is just one of the coolest places to get off. Your cell phone still works because
Yep.
you're in the U.S.
Yep.
So you can Instagram and Facebook your ass off. You know, you can take a bunch of pictures. You can text your kids. You can text your grandma.
Yep.
You can just stay in touch a little bit more.
But it
the
felt
currency
so
is right.
remote and
It's
Caribbean.
so safe. You know, it's Key West. It feels U.S. You know.
Yeah.
And you could call that a bit of a negative that you don't feel like super duper exotic, but you know you're somewhere where it's magic.
It was magic. It
And
was
Cozumel, man, it doesn't matter what you want to get into. It's
No,
there
it's
for
there.
you. And I'm
Yeah.
beating a dead horse on our love for Cozumel being just the right amount of dirty.
It is.
The price of beer, the fixed taxi fares, all of that stuff is just a big time plus in my opinion. We went by a place that had $1 Heinekens. I didn't order a $1 Heineken, but I did order a $3 Dos Equis. We did ride a taxi that we knew we weren't going to get screwed on. It
Yeah.
cost us $17 to get over to Mr. Sancho's, right on the board, and $17 to get back. And it's as many people as you can pile in the
No,
cab.
4 people.
4 people. So we piled 4 people in the cab. We met another nice couple that was going to Mr. Sancho's. Split the
Yeah.
cab fare with them both ways. And not that that's a humongous expense if you're, you're one of those people that like your space. So you could just hop in there with whoever or yourself and take a taxi cab to Mr. Sancho's or Nachi, and it's fixed.
Right.
Chacanab, all of these places have a fixed cost associated with the transport to there and from there.
Yep. And you
And-
don't have to book through the cruise lines. It is safer to do so. We did see some people from the Valor.
You can't book Sancho's through the cruise line.
No, but we did see, pay attention to ship time versus shore time.
Yep.
Because we did see some people from the Valor who were spending having a great time at
They
Mr.
were out of
Sancho's.
Galveston, though.
Yeah, and they were out of Galveston.
So
And
they should have been on the same time, and they thought they had an extra hour or something. But anyway, they kind of screwed the pooch on that one.
Their boat left and they didn't.
I don't know. Well, I don't know. We weren't there to see it happen, but they were leaving when their ship was supposed to be leaving too.
Yeah.
From Mr. Sancho's, and they were 15 minutes out. So maybe they got lucky. I
one
pray to
can
God
hope.
they do.
Yes. We did see some people miss the ship in Key West, which was really sad because
Yeah, they were paging.
because
they
that
never came.
No, because that is a U.S. port, and it's from the U.S. They don't catch you at the next port stop. You don't get a fly to the next port stop. So if you miss the ship in Key West, your cruise is over.
Yeah, and Felipe said, here's how it works. Carnival's such a good company that we're going to fly you to the next port on our dime because we know you might not have your credit cards and all that. But when you get to the next port, guess what's going on your account?
Right?
All of that travel associated with getting you somewhere. So there is a backup plan because it does happen.
Right, it
That
does happen, but
Carnival
that's-
has your back and isn't going to just be like, well, I don't know what to tell you. You're in St. Thomas and this sucks for you.
Right.
They will get you to the next port, hopefully, but you're going to bear those expenses.
Unless you miss a port that's in the U.S. and you're
And
on a
then you
U.S.
just
based
get to go
ship,
home.
and then you just get to go home.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So
Feel
we
free
had
to
an
change your
amazing
own
time.
itinerary.
We did go outside of our comfort zone on multiple things. We didn't book any Carnival excursions this trip.
Nope.
We didn't have the Cheers package this trip.
And we didn't eat in the MDR so much.
Right, we ate in the MDR once.
We stayed in an interior room.
Stayed in an interior room. Would you do it again?
Yes. Well, If my go-to is always going to be based on the room classes that we've stayed in. We've stayed in ocean view, porthole, balcony, and interior now. And
Right.
I don't know that we're ever going to have the opportunity to try the bridal suite or whatever that case is, but I will always go for a balcony because that's your shaded, sea view, unobstructed, personal space that you have. And I know people. The argument is that I'm never going to be in the room, so it really doesn't matter. But
matters.
I'm telling you. From our perspective, and you do you, boo, like Michelle says. You do you, boo. But I will choose a balcony any day of the week if I can afford it.
Right.
And we were offered an upgrade on this ship to a ocean view
Yep.
for $30 per person. I will do that at the very minimum if I have the $60. I
Right.
mean, we're talking $60. It's not a humongous expense to get to the point where you have some natural light, where you have a view of the port coming in and the
Yeah.
excitement of getting up in the morning and looking out the window while you've got the room service coming with their
Yeah.
yummy, delicious coffee.
So that does bring us to a point. We'll always choose a room with either a window or a balcony. But if it's the difference between having a window or a balcony and being on the ship, or an interior, or an interior and
That being
being on the
said-
ship versus not being on the
Yeah.
ship at all, we'll choose the interior all day long.
And we are booked on an interior on the Lolita Loca Sharon at Sea cruise, aren't we?
We have some interiors booked. I think we have some portholes booked, and I think we have some
So we'll wait for
views
the
over
upgrade
the
ferry.
Lido or something like
we
that.
will. I wouldn't choose.
It's 300 days away. So.
I wouldn't choose an interior room over anything. I wouldn't neglect a upgrade if it came my way and the price was right. Like I said, I would always
Right.
choose a balcony because on the Miracle, it really was a nice spot. We ordered room
Right.
service at a BLT and just kind of chilled out there. Krista would get ready, and I wasn't standing there going, "Yeah, come on, let's go. Let's go see the sunrise or the sunset." Or
Yeah,
whatever. I just
and those
chill.
rooms are bigger, so they do give you more space to put stuff, store stuff. It made it a lot more comfortable.
Yeah, that room we
Any
had
room
was very
other than the
was
interior.
very limited with space,
Yes.
and we liked that little table and the little sofa.
Yep. So we're booked for Cozumel at least one more time right now, at least.
I wish they would have an overnight Cozumel or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
think-
They did kind of close the port up, like we
yeah, everything was
mentioned with
closed
the
at
schedule.
like 10. I mean,
The Margaritaville is tied to Royal,
Right.
And so by the time we got back there, the Royal ship was leaving, and we didn't get Margaritaville was closed.
Yeah.
There was plenty else to do. I'm not bitching about that. We hung out at the Tres Amigos.
yeah, and Fat
and
Tuesdays.
the Fat Tuesdays.
Ooh,
and
brain
just
freeze.
Had a great time over there, and saw a beautiful sun. Well, you've seen some of the sunset by now, but
Yeah. So, would we take this exact same cruise again? Yes,
yes, I wish they would do something better with the scheduling part
Yes.
of it, not the itinerary part.
exactly. I love the ports. Just wish the timing was a little different. Even if we got into Key West at 9, and because that would have given us time to ride the bikes to wherever we were going, and
Give me 9
everything
to
opens
3.
up to 10. Yeah, 9 to 3 would be perfect. But I understand
But
Key West
we
is.
we did dig just riding around. I mean, there was nobody in the streets. Right? We were riding down the middle of the street on a bicycle, not even paying attention, pointing the GoPro at something cool.
I had my Osbo pocket. I'm like,
Oh, look, mile 0, and there's
Right?
this shit. We were
They're
running
nothing.
stoplights. We were just acting like fools, like
chickens are crossing the road.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
We made the best of all of it, and these our negatives are really just things that were a surprise to us.
Yes.
That we did, maybe weren't expecting so much. So there you
I
go.
may put on my packing list toilet paper. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm good with that.
Degenerate Nation, thank you so much for listening to our positives and negatives about Cozumel and Key West on the Carnival Victory. Again, we both rank it at 8, even though we had some negative things that we weren't really happy about.
You got to find. All of the food on board, and the best we can find is eggs. So
Yeah.
we're pretty much nitpicking.
Yeah, we're nitpicking. And everybody can nitpick, but please remember that you're on vacation and celebrate the day. You are...
Celebrate the day.
It's amazing. Vacation's awesome. Out.
See ya.
Much love to our friends. Be the good in the world. Spread the love and go out on an adventure. Please like, comment, and subscribe.